This the people party.
Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note.
Live from the Blue Note. Come on. Peace and love, party people. It's Talib Kweli, the MCEO, the BKMC. The sun is finally going down here at Napa Valley Blue Note Jazz Fest. There's been so many great performances. A shout out to the staff of the Blue Note and the people of the Blue Note. Shout out to my man Alex for always holding us down. Shout out to Dave Chappelle, Robert Glasper. We've been having a great time. And we've been having guests. We've been doing People's Party here. Now, this next guest, I'm not going to do, I give the long intros. I'm not going to do the traditional long intro because this guest has been on this show before. He's a good friend of mine. He's one of the greatest working comedians out here, an incredible actor, an incredible human being. This man, I'm proud to say, is my actual friend. He's in my inner circle. We met a long time ago on Wild 'N Out. He has great relationships with some of the GOATs in the game, from Martin Lawrence to Jamie Foxx. Online, and we're going to talk about this a little bit because this man has a lot of expertise when it comes to social media. Online, he has created new avenues for comedians. During the pandemic, he got busy with his man Spice Adams, but even before that, he was killing it online. His special Mirror to Society is a brilliant piece of work. You've seen him in some of your favorite films. Some of my favorite work he's done particularly has been with Marlon Wayans. Shout out to Marlon Wayans. Give it up for a comedian's comedian, a hip-hop connoisseur, a dancer's dancer, an all-around fantastic human being. Affion Crockett in the place to be. Make some noise.
It's a hell of an intro. Bars.
Off the cuff.
Thank
Off the
you, my
top of
brother.
the head. I
That was
freestyle.
Off the dome.
Off the dome. I meant to say in the intro, the baddest nigga ever.
That's
B-N-E.
my song. B&E,
You know what I'm saying?
baddest nigga ever.
Because I pay attention, because how many people know Affion also got lyrics? My man got bars. Yesterday, he was on stage with Robert Glasper. They found out last night.
Yeah.
On stage with Robert Glasper and Derek Hodges and Chris Daddy
And
Dave.
Layla Hathaway.
And Layla Hathaway.
Of all people.
Spitting his little heart out.
Spit my heart out.
Straight from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Vietnam, 2-6, and...
Vietnam? I never heard that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Somebody's
Vietnam
from
is
Vietnam out there.
Okay. What's up, girl?
Okay.
I need a ride on.
Because, of course, people from North Carolina drove here.
Exactly.
Of course. We're at the Blue Note Jazz Festival. You were good friends with Robert Glasper.
Yeah.
You were on Robert Glasper's Fuck Yo Feelings mixtape.
Fuck your feelings. The intro.
The intro.
Yeah.
And your bars were actually very tight on that intro.
Thank you, man. Look,
Until Robert cut you off.
Yeah. Rob, for some reason, he always loves for me to do the live shows, but he won't. He's scared to get me on a real track. He's scared. So
He's
when I
busting shots. I feel like he was busting shots a little bit.
I was shooting shots at him, and he don't want to rap battle me no more. Like, we have a viral rap video, rap battle, but he don't want it. So, me and you got actual songs.
We got actual songs.
Rob is scared to get me on an actual song. So, my bars was tight. Thank you for acknowledging that. But fuck Robert Glasper.
And fuck his feelings too.
Fuck his feelings too.
All right. Thank you for doing that record, Black History. I used to have a group that I worked with, Strong Arm Steady. Shout out to Planet Asia, Chase Infinite, Krondon, Phil the Agony, Mitchie Slick. Affion came through and did a record called Black History.
I stole it. Remember?
You did. You did.
You put me on another song, and then you sent me Black History. And I was like, Kwai, I gotta get on this. And I remixed it myself and put myself at the end, and you kept it. So thank you.
Yes, and we did a video for that. Go check out that video on YouTube. Now, on Black History, you talk about your roots, your Trini roots as a Trinidadian.
Yeah.
How did your family get from Trinidad to Fayetteville, North Carolina?
My grandmother married a Marine, my step-grandfather, and he got stationed in North Carolina. Camp Lejeune, that's like a real big Marine base in North Carolina. And that's how we ended up there. So it was pretty much marriage and flight out. That's how we got there, yeah.
Word up.
North Carolina.
Now, I want to thank you because I have Trini in my family.
Oh,
my
wow.
cousin Abena is Trini. Shout out to Abena. She hit me one day and she's like, do you know Affion Crockett? He's performing tonight with all these Trinidadian artists in Brooklyn.
At King's Theater.
At King's Theater.
Yeah.
And he put my cousin on the guest list. I didn't know my cousin was even a fan, but she's a fan of you because you Trini. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, she's a fan of anybody Trini.
And it was a big Trini event. It was the roast of Marshall Montano. Marshall Montano is one of the biggest, technically the biggest soca artists, if you know anything about soca music. in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. And so he's celebrating his 40th year in the industry, and he had a roast at King's Theater in Brooklyn with a bunch of us. Major Hype was the roast master. But yeah, I had to go there and pull the jokes out the bag and show them what I do.
I think I saw a little footage of that online.
Yeah, I posted it on my gram. It was very disrespectful, but you know, it's a roast, so everybody's getting disrespectful with everybody.
Speaking of roasting, and speaking of being disrespectful, you have a wonderful relationship with Spice Adams.
Yeah.
For people who don't know Spice Adams' history and
Right.
how he even came to become an internet sensation, break that down.
Spice Adams was a football player. I believe he played for Chicago Bears, and when he retired, like a lot of athletes, he didn't really know where he was going to land, where his career was going to go, or what he was going to do. All he knows how to do is tackle people.
Right.
What do you do with that? And so he did some video in a White Castle, I think he said, and just put it online. Within 30 minutes, it was already on ESPN and circulating around the sports world. And from there, he just knew that he had something.
Right.
Whatever it was something. And him and his wife is his biggest supporter, and she encourages the nonsense.
Right.
So she'll record some of his stuff.
Right.
She's the camera person, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's how it started. And then I became a fan of his videos. Like, he has so many different videos, like the guys that don't know that certain songs were sampled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's in the car videos.
Yeah, he's sitting in the car and he's listening to the original song. Thinking
Right.
Your voice is about to drop. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, that ain't
right.
Kweli. What? The DJ is running the back flawlessly. But anyway, yeah, that's how he started, and then he and I linked up during the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic. Now, you've been very active online your whole career, but the pandemic, you stepped it up. And you and Spice Adams, particularly making fun of the verses.
Yeah.
How did y'all come up with that idea?
That was when the Teddy Riley and Babyface, the first verses that had like a big debacle.
Yeah.
Teddy was ahead of his time, because the verses setup that he had was what they started doing after that. The live in studio with all the lights and the band and all that. But he tried to start it off himself, and there was a whole lot of echoes and Wi-Fi problems.
Right.
It just didn't have the bandwidth to withhold it. So me and Spice, like the idiots that we are, we was like, we should spoof this.
Right.
And we got online that night and literally sat on live for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Tens of thousands of people was just like zooming, dialing in, and laughing. All we saw were emojis, cry face emojis, the whole time we were on. And that started it off.
Now, what people don't know about Affion Crockett is, as great as you are as an actor, as great as you are as a comedian,
thank you,
you are a dancer first.
I am a dancer
and you are
first.
from the dance community.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my dancers.
Shout out.
How many people have seen Affion Crockett as a teenager on Showtime at the Apollo? Make sure you make a note of that. Go to your phones, go to your Googles, go to your YouTube.
I was on there.
Affion Crockett is doing acrobatic feats of majesty.
Yeah, backflips. Me and my boys, the twins, Johnny and John A, we went to the Apollo, and that was our first experience with performing in New York at the legendary Apollo.
How old were you?
Man, 18-ish? 18, I think. But yeah, it was our first time performing in New York at the legendary Apollo, and most people, their first question is, did you get booed, or are you scared to get booed? We were terrified, but we were confident enough to know that what we had, they was gonna dig it.
Right.
And we picked a classic song. Soho,
Yeah.
Hot Music by Soho.
Yeah.
And so when New York heard that, even though we weren't house dancers, we put our B-boy moves to the house track. They stood up on their feet and they was rocking with us the whole time. So
New York was right on that vibe right at that moment too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it was a great choice for us. I'm glad we didn't pick no whack hip hop song or something crazy, something watered down.
And for people who don't know, Affion also started his career on Soul Train.
I didn't start my career on Soul Train.
With dance.
Here's the story that most people don't know.
Okay.
I'm the only comedian. How many of y'all remember Def Comedy Jam? Right? Remember at the end of every Def Comedy Jam episode, they had the dancers come out. And shout out to like the Mop Tops and
Tops, Mysterious Misfits.
Yeah, Mysterious Misfits. Yeah.
My man Saviors, rest in peace to Voodoo Ray.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Link,
Henry,
Marquess,
Stretch.
Stretch, But yeah, anyway.
They all
I used
went to
watch,
dance for Mariah Carey after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson, too.
And Michael Jackson, yeah.
Stretch choreographed Remember the Time with Fatima.
That's right.
So that's to give you a little history of the dance world that I emulated and became a fan of and then a practitioner of. All these dancers would dance at the end of Def Comedy Jam. So I'm watching it for the comedy, and then I'm watching for the MCs who were guests. So Def Comedy Jam was that one show that had everything that I am, except I wasn't doing comedy yet. But I would watch it for the dancers at the end and see who was getting nice and whose freestyle moves was gonna be crazy. But I'm the first comedian that when I finally booked Def Comedy Jam as a comedian, Bob Sumner, the talent scout, he said, come out and dance with the dancers at the end too.
Right.
So I'm the only comedian to do both on the show. So
Give it up for that.
But yeah, when I got to LA later on, I just did Soul Train for fun.
Okay.
Like I met some guys, I was like, yo, you dance, come down to Soul Train. Who don't want to be on Soul Train if you're a dancer and you grew up watching it? Now, of course, it wasn't the Soul Train I grew up watching. It wasn't the Don
But
Cornelius.
you old
Cool.
enough to have done it when it Don Cornelius.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I was a little baby when Don was doing it. You know what I mean? I was a kid.
So Shamar Moore, who is it?
It was a Shamar Moore era.
Moore?
It was.
Shamar Moore was trying to battle y'all.
He was. He took his shirt off and everything. Trying to, you know.
He would be grinding.
He was doing the Genuine, but mixed with the Young MC. Yeah. But yeah, it was the Shamar Moore era. And although he's not, you know, musically adept, he was a very nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Yes.
Shout out to Shamar Moore. Now you also, your love for dance kind of overlaps. You're a martial arts practitioner.
I do.
Yeah.
I do it. I do it most of all to keep in shape, guys. Like I'm not a tough guy. I'm not, you know, out here fighting people. But I love Bruce Lee. I just grew up watching martial arts movies.
Yeah.
And who didn't, right?
Yeah.
The Saturday
Our
morning.
generation, of course.
Kung Fu Theater.
And of course, the
Wu-Tang
Bay Area,
Clan.
they love Bruce Lee.
Of course. Well, this is where he came to. He came to San Francisco when he left China. He got kicked out of China. His mom was like, nah, you getting in too many street fights and you got to go to the U.S. So he came to San Francisco and he's buried in Seattle.
Did you know that fortune cookies were invented in San Francisco?
I did not know that.
They're not from China.
I did not know that.
That's how Asian San Francisco is.
Wow. Shout out to San Fran. And fortune cookies. Also.
Shout out to fortune cookies. Man, there's a whole Rick and Morty episode about fortune cookies. We could do a deep dive on that later.
That's crazy.
I got to ask you about Mirror to Society.
Please.
Because I've seen you perform and I've seen clips online.
Right.
But I can't find this special online.
We only licensed it for a year. So let me break that down.
Okay, break it down. That's Peacock or something, right?
I financed Mirror to Society, so that means I own it outright.
All right.
Licensing means I didn't go to a big network and they didn't give me a deal. They cut me a little small check and they own all of my IP outright. I didn't do that.
Right.
I financed it myself and said I'm going to look for a licensing deal so that when that licensing deal is up, it reverts back to me and I can go shop it around in perpetuity. I can shop around as much as I want. So it's not up now because I've been working on other things that I can't mention now because we're in a strike. But that's why you haven't seen Mirrors of Society. But we're looking for another situation for it now.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the strike. I'm actually a member of SAG-AFTRA because when I was a little baby, I was in The Wiz.
You said that before. You said that before, and I didn't do the knowledge on it. You gotta tell me what
it's Lena Horne singing. If you believe in yourself, and there's babies hanging.
Yeah,
I'm one of the babies. Yeah.
Which baby were you?
I'm one of them babies.
You didn't find yourself?
I haven't seen it in years, but I was getting a check. I was getting a SAG-AFTRA check for years. So I feel like when I go back to New York, I'm going to go show my solidarity.
Whose idea was it to hang babies behind Lena Horne, though?
Berry Gordy.
Say less. Look. say less. Berry Gordy's the godfather.
Berry Gordy's like, we're going to make a movie star out of Diana Ross and we're going to hang babies.
We're going to hang babies.
Behind her.
Behind Lena Horne. Yeah, let's hang them little babies.
Now.
And watch them shit on themselves.
If you believe.
Put a titty in the baby mouth.
Now.
That's how they used to talk back in the 70s. They had no filter at all.
Now, shout out to Breakfast Club.
Shout out.
One of the funniest things, I watched Breakfast Club with Affion recently, and it got into this whole, it was you and Charlemagne and Envy and Angela Yee wasn't there, and y'all got into this whole like pause thing.
Right.
Someone that says something questionable, you got into this pause thing, and you said, where is Angela Yee when you need her? And then she left the show 6 months later. Why'd you make Angela leave? Why'd you make her leave the show?
I'm a prophet, man. You know, I just say things from my spirit and they manifest. The power of life and death is in the tongue.
Right, but on that show, you said something I think was very important. They talked about your impressions and how you're good at doing impressions. And you said, and they asked you, who do you compare yourself to? And you said, I don't consider myself an impressionist.
Right.
I'm an actor. Just like Denzel Washington embodies a character,
right.
I embody a character. And I thought that distinction was very, very, very necessary to make.
Yeah.
But then you went on and you did this thing where you explained the science of how the Jay-Z impersonation or impression can morph quickly into the Maya Angelou.
Yeah, it happens, man. So I'm walking around the crib, just randomly listening. A Jay-Z song came on, and I started rapping to it. It's like, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho. And so I'm just randomly doing the verse, and then I realize in the laugh is Maya. Hello, children. Hi, Blue Note. Welcome to you all. I appreciate you all staying right here. Even though I know you didn't come to see me, you came to get some shade. And then it goes right back. Thank you, love. I appreciate you.
Now, I didn't realize it was that scientific.
It is, but
Yeah.
you being an artist, most impressionists will tell you that we learn it from music. Ari Spears used to play music, and his mom was a singer. Jay Farrell's an MC as well, and I'm not sure what his whole musical background is. I used to play music at 5 by melody, by ear. My mom would have these Casio keyboards she would buy me, and I would play the theme to Axel F. Dun, 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 dun. I would just play it by ear. Or I'd hear a Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder song and play by ear. So now when I hear certain voices, my ear can hear if it's right on tune or right on pitch.
Now, speaking of your acting, let's talk about Devin Fontaine.
Okay.
Because this is a character you made up now. How many people are familiar with Kevin Samuels? Kevin Samuels, right? Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. He's a very polarizing individual. He says some things that depending on where you were on that day or what either you agree with him or you didn't, but he spoke his truth in an era where apparently everyone could have their own truth. I didn't know that. But, but you did a character that, correct me if I'm wrong, might have been loosely based on some of the things he was doing.
No, it was directly based on him.
Okay.
In the beginning.
Okay.
In the beginning. No, it was directly based on him because when I first saw a video of him, somebody sent me a clip in the DM. So I had never heard of him before. I never saw him before. But what I noticed in that clip was how uninterested he was in talking to the person that he brought on his live.
Right.
You know what I mean? He would ask them questions like, what's your name? Where you from? And he'd be like taking dirt out of his nails or something. And I'm like, why is he doing this? And he's already bashing them. Like, how tall are you? How much do you weigh? You weigh 230 and you 5'6"? Oh no, boo. You can't get you a high value man. So I went on IG Live and I said, yo, should I spoof this guy? And we were in the pandemic, so everybody was bored and it was like, yeah, let's do it. Again, like when me and Spice did verses, I got on, I painted the beard on and the glasses. I got a black turtleneck and a blazer.
Right.
And everyone from Swizz Beats to Roxy from 106, everybody jumped on, and it was like another 7,000 to 10,000 people watching me just imitate him. But the more I started doing the impression, I didn't really have an impression of his voice. Mm-hmm. It became another character that I've done for 10 years named Fontaine LeBrock.
Okay.
Who's extremely flamboyant and sassy, but you know what I mean? No one knows what his sexual orientation is.
Right.
So it became Fontaine, who I did in Mirror to Society. There's a whole story about Fontaine being the, we all grew up with cousins that might have been gay, and they didn't want to come out, but we still treat them with the love, but we know that they, by the way they hold their wrists a certain way or the way they turn their head.
Are you talking about gaydar? You trying to get me canceled?
No, I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
We know we still got love for them, but we have family members who they live a life and they don't want to come out right away, but we just embrace them until they do.
No doubt. I want to take this moment to say rest in peace to your father.
Oh, thank you, man.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I still have my father. I don't know what that feels like.
I pray that you never know that pain. I really do. Like it's one of the most surreal transitions that I've ever felt. And even though I've been around people that have lost parents and I've consoled them and all of that, that ain't something I would wish on anybody to feel that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I got a lot of love for you, bro. And
Likewise.
I've known Affion for a long time. He's been very active on social media for a long time. He's been very good at managing his brand and getting new fans on social media. Whereas me, it's kind of the
a great
opposite.
job of losing fans every day.
Yeah, I lose fans all the time because, I run my social media like an anti-celebrity. It's like a human experience, and I really don't care if you like it or not. But as my friend,
Yeah.
Affion has called me often and been like, yo, I want to sit down and have an intervention with you because of your social media engagement. So I'm going to give you a chance to do that right now.
So, and we had this conversation the other night.
Yes.
But we're going to have it in front of you guys.
Yes.
And hopefully you guys feel me, just you guys right here. Talib Kweli is one of the most prolific MCs in our culture.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
This ain't, not even if he wasn't here, like these are just facts. This isn't gas, this isn't none of that. How many albums you have total?
17.
I didn't even realize it was that much. In my mind, I'm thinking 12 to 14.
Right.
Right? Beautiful Struggle. I'm losing count. I don't even remember the names. But your albums are front to back, push play, and just let it go.
Thank you, brother.
You have collaboration albums with Styles P, and of course you and Yasin, Black Star 1 and 2. Give it up for that. You've been in the game. You have some of those dope collaborations. Respiration being one of my favorite tracks, right? Get By being one of the most inspirational MC and stadium type of tracks.
Thank you, brother.
So when I see you being the guy that you are, the son of a scholar.
Two scholars.
Yeah. Sorry, I stand corrected. The son of two scholars.
Right.
Going back and forth with people who just aren't on your level, in my opinion. Now,
it's not an opinion, that's facts.
Right. I say in my opinion because I don't know these people.
Oh, I know them.
personally.
It's facts.
Right, got you. But anyway, my point is, you're going back and forth with people that we don't know, but we get familiar with them because you now give them the platform. Your platform that I wish you would not share with them because they mean you no good. They're saying bad things about you. Y'all are arguing over ideologies and racism and politics and all kinds of stuff. And so I reached out to you several times like, man, would you stop doing that shit? You bigger than that. You so much bigger than that. And then the other night when we were sitting down and talking about it, you said something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, Afe, it's fun for me. And right then, I was like, oh, I get it. Okay. All right. Some people throw paint pellets at the side of public buses.
Right.
And that's fun for them.
Right.
For you, it's bodying people bodying trolls.
Fun is one aspect of it. It's a very powerful, probably the most powerful aspect of it, but yes.
And break down the other reason how you were saying the Twitter characters and writing. It's writing for you.
Yeah, we're in the Bay Area. How many people ever heard of Black Alicious? Rest in peace to Gifted Gab. One of the things Gifted Gab said to me before he passed away was, I follow you on Twitter, and ever since you've been arguing and debating with people on Twitter, I feel like your lyrical output has gotten better. And that's something that I personally felt, but I'm biased, so that's not something I would advertise. Guess what, y'all? I'm better now because of Twitter.
Right.
That sounds crazy. But to hear another MC say that to me, I understood the mission. And by the way, you're welcome, by the way, because you said you didn't know about these people. And now you know.
No, I don't want to know about them.
Well,
That's
should.
my point. I don't care about these people. I care about you.
Right. And that's why I love him, because what he's saying is he's concerned about my well-being. This is my friend. He loves me. My friends who challenge me on this is because they love me. They don't want to see nothing
I don't want to see him at one of his shows, and we always see headlines, and we see little, things on social media. I don't want to see that he got into a fight or some viral video of somebody attacking or whatever.
And that's real,
We were there when Chappelle got attacked.
And that's real.
You had to go, you and Yassine had to go on right after that.
And because I'm on the internet arguing with these people so much, I know for a fact that guy made an anti-Dave Chappelle song, and he was trolling Dave Chappelle. He made a song saying, I'm going to show up at Dave Chappelle's show and do this. So it's not, but he's the exception to the rule. Generally, I'm not in danger from that stuff. If I was in danger from that stuff, I have enough privilege in my life to keep myself away from danger. But I said you're welcome because I do believe that we should shame the devil. And I do believe that all racists should become famous. You and I have been famous for some time. Fame is not all it's cracked up to be.
Facts.
People worship fame as if being famous makes you automatically virtuous. Right. I'm down for every racist to be famous, every bigot to be famous, every anti-gay person, every sexist, every classist, every ableist person. Let's make them famous so we see them coming. Because if we see them coming, we could better protect ourselves. We're a community, and we spend all this time online. We on Uber, DoorDash, this and that. But people say, well, don't engage in online talk, come back, because that's not real. And I believe it is real. And
it's very real.
I believe that we're in new spaces, though, right? This is why we have to have these conversations.
Right.
We've never had social media before. Everybody's experimenting with it. Everybody's learning on the job. So I really appreciate having a friend like Affion, because what I take from Affion is I'm not going to stop being me. And by the way, the person who made all those records is the same person arguing with them trolls. I can't separate. So if you want to hear more of those records, you got to let me do me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to always let you do you.
No doubt.
But to the point of what you said, we should make them famous so that we see them coming, right? That's so if they're on a video or if they're in public somewhere, then we know that that's the racist person.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I don't want to provoke the sneak attack or the anything. I don't want to provoke any violence or any kind of attack against you physically. I'm trying to,
no doubt.
You know what I mean? As your friend, I'm like, we both gonna be fighting.
No doubt. And my friend Seth says that. You know my man Seth Bird.
Yeah.
He says, look, the reason why I sometimes weigh in is because when they come at you, I might be standing next to you. So it's just from self-preservation.
I was standing next to you last night.
Yeah.
When there was an overzealous security guard trying to do whatever he was going to do.
That's right.
And me and Finesse Mitchell, we didn't say nothing, but you felt us.
I did. But
I put the camera down.
Right. But you see how I handled it. I talked them off the ledge.
I love the way you handled it.
Yeah.
But just know that if you're ever in a situation where somebody is giving you that kind of energy, we got that energy.
No doubt.
You see what I'm saying?
Keep that same energy.
Keep that same energy.
No doubt.
I am a martial artist.
He is a martial artist. And he's like water. He's not on offense. It's for defense only. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for that project. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. Introverse?
Introverse.
Introverse.
Yes.
You're singing.
A little bit.
The joint with Ella J is dope.
Thank you. Feel free.
Martin Lawrence, you went from working with Martin to hosting the Martin reunion.
Yeah.
Talk about hosting the Martin reunion.
Dream come true. I mean, how many of y'all grew up watching Martin show? And it's still in syndication, so we see it every night on TV. Listen, to go from the sofa being a fan with my family, watching that living room, that famous living room of Martin show, and then to be sitting in there interviewing all of them.
Yeah.
And Tisha and Tashina, they're here this weekend
Shout out
too.
to Tisha and
Shout out to
Tashina
Tisha Campbell, Tashina Arnold.
Look how beautiful the Blue Note Jazz. You could be walking around and run into the cast of Martin. How about that?
Period. But yeah, it was a dream come true. I'm honored. Martin has been a mentor of mine since we did that movie, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins.
And also Malcolm D. Lee, the director of
Malcolm Lee is here as well.
Is walking around as well. Say what's up to him when you see him.
Absolutely. So yeah, Martin he just took to me like an uncle, like a big bro, and just took me under his wing. And by the time that came about, I'm already friends with all of them, right? So when my name came up for hosting that, they all were like, yes, it's Affion, because they know I love them.
Yeah.
So my energy is never gonna be the clickbait kind of interview and trying to ask a controversial question so that people tune in. I'm not about that life at all. I promote love and positivity, and anything negative, I would rather not talk about it, or we could talk about it behind this tree. You know what I mean? I just don't like, we have enough publications and podcasts and all that promoting negativity all the time. I'm just not about it.
Somebody who you're very close to is Jamie Foxx.
I'm not very close to him. Let's
Wasn't
clear
he
that up.
producing something?
We produced a project back in 2010, 2011.
Okay.
But we're not close. But I'm
gonna tell you why I
a
thought
huge
you were
fan
close.
of him.
I mean, because I went to his birthday party once.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah.
you were there.
That's when we were doing the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, so I thought you were closer to Jamie Foxx than maybe you were.
Nah, we just had that creative chemistry.
Okay.
So when he saw me on stage with you and Rich Nice was there, was a few people. But when he saw me on stage, that's when we were kind of like working on the show.
It was Richie Rich.
Sorry, not Rich Nice. And he just started throwing me the layups.
Yeah.
And for the impressions to come and with the raps and all that.
This whole thing with his health and his privacy and all these conspiracy theories have been very weird to me. And it's triggering to me a little bit because I feel like celebrities should be able to define their own space and their own boundaries. Do you have any thoughts about this?
We're in an era where everyone wants your business to be public business. And it's just not that. Like, my business is not going to be your business. It's always going to be my business.
Right.
If you should happen to catch something and you film it or whatever, that's whatever. But I'll never give the public my business. Even when I write rhymes or tell jokes, I'm fabricating a lot of it. So it's never fully about me. It might be based on something else or whatever. But yeah, he should be able to recover in peace and not have every tabloid saying his name for ratings and you know what I'm saying, for hits and clicks and likes.
No doubt. Shout out to Jamie Foxx.
One of the most talented people in the world, by the way.
That we
Shout
are
out
blessed
Jamie
to
Foxx.
live on this planet while he's alive.
100%.
Absolutely. I got one more question for Affion Crockett. First of all, show your love for Affion Crockett for giving us his time, his love, his energy.
People's Party, y'all. Shout out to Talib Kweli, y'all. Give it up for him.
Thank you. World's best podcast. I live a very blessed life.
Yes, you do.
I don't have much to complain about. One of the greatest blessings in life is I get to travel the world.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. International. I'm always in another country.
Yeah.
But one of the downsides of that is when somebody like Affion calls you and says, "I'm working on a movie. I need you to pull up for this movie." I can't pull up for the movie. And so Affion called me and asked me to be in this film that he put together, and the film is about hip hop. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Fuck! I wish I was in this movie." So tell us about your new film that you've been working on, hip hop movie.
I can't because of the strike.
Oh, that's right.
I can't talk about it openly, even though, let me say this, even though my film is not, it's another one that I finance myself. It is SAG signatory. It's not under the AMPTP rule, but I'm gonna stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters in SAG, in the union, and not promote anything that I have. So,
Word up.
But when y'all see it, just know.
Yeah, I
Just
saw a
know.
trailer and it's a love letter to hip hop in the best comedic way.
I was just trying to paint a picture like Norman Mailer.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Affion Crockett on the world's best
Appreciate
podcast, The People's Party.
Much
we love
love,
you,
my
brother.
guy.
Thank
You already know. I love you.